Hello, hello, what is going on, YouTube friends? We are rocking the Omono, or whatever, however you say the ship, right? So this is the Tier 6, this is the newish Japanese tech tree, right? So I did finally get through to the Tier 8, right? But I had a couple of Omono games, right, that I wanted to, that I held on to, right? Because they were decent games, decent playstyle, right? They were fun, right? Entertainment is what we're here for, right? I'm not always the best player. Most of the time I am. Obviously, not really. If you watch my live streams, you know I'm lying. Yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun with these, with this tech tree, right? So, these torpedoes, crazy strong and crazy long range, right? So that's why we sort of dump them early on, and reload time isn't half bad either. But we'll continue to press in, and we've got decent concealment built in here as well, right? So we'll move up until we sort of get spotted, or, some other things, some spotting happens, right? Until we can see some enemies and where they're at. And then we'll kind of adjust accordingly, right? But like many cruisers, it's not always smart to be broadside to the enemy, right? So we're being a little risky by waiting until we get spotted here to make our turn, right? But there are only 2 battleships on the enemy team, right? Somebody shot HE at us, so that was, that was a welcome sight, right? Shorthurst, not too big of a threat, right? As long as we're smart about angling. But yeah, so we'll see if we can't set him on fire, right? There's got to be something closer than him. Yeah, we'll damage con that fire and the turrets, right? There's got to be something closer than these battleships that's spotting us, right? So there's no point in, holding off on firing to try and go unspotted, because I know there's got to be a destroyer or something closer, right? So, and yep, we can see some torpedoes coming. That is also why we triggered our sonar as well, because we kind of figured something else was picking us up, so we will send those. So we'll trigger the sonar, right? So, but alas, we'll have to remain in sort of a defensive angle, moving away position, right, until we can kind of get a bead on where that destroyer might be. The other one does get picked up in zone C, right? So we know that, yeah. So we know there's only the one by us, most likely, right? And then we go unspotted here, right? So now we're not being spotted. So we'll back up, right? We'll see if we can't send some more torpedoes off in this direction, right? And just look at the minimap, how far these go, right? So if those battleships decide to turn in, we may be shooting, hopefully in the direction of wherever their destroyer went, but also hopefully those battleships kind of turn towards this direction, right? To me, those guys are not being aggressive enough, and that's going to kind of play into what pans out for the rest of this match. But yeah, as those battleships, you do have to kind of think about how you've got the biggest health pool amongst the other ships that are out here, right? And they're the only 2 battleships, right? So they really should be. It would have been nice for them to not be spawned on the same spot, but then they also stick together, so I don't know. But yeah, so alas, we'll be able to we'll send some more torpedoes in their direction. It'd be nice to be able to get rid of the destroyer wherever he went. I'm gonna guess he's behind this island just off to the left of my screen here, because he may be potentially hunting our battleship that spawned with us on this side, right? So can we get a torp hit on Shorthurst? So the torpedoes are kind of where these ships shine, right? So you see how much damage we did to that guy, 17,000. Yeah, so that puts us up to 30,000 damage dealt, and then we're going to send some more in his direction. Hope he keeps coming this direction. And then we get another hit on somebody there. I wonder if that was the destroyer. I'm going to guess so then we could see, we could see torpedoes going after our battleship off to the left there as well. And then, yeah, we're up to 44,000 damage now. And then I'm going to see... So we held off firing here, and as you can see, we remained spotted, right? So we know that their enemy destroyer is has line of sight on us and is within that sort of 9.5, 10 kilometers is what we had for detectability here, right? And then, yeah, we're going to lose that battleship. You could make the argument that I should have gone over closer to him to help support, right? But we're not exactly the best destroyer hunter per se. Our sonar's kind of short, doesn't last very long, right? And then we're a little bit better at, sort of damage farming and sending torpedoes through, right? So, but yes, alas, sorry, battleship buddy, right? And we get another torpedo hit on the Shornhurst. Almost got him. But the other, go case manages to finish him off, right? And then, yeah, we're using our sonar again here as well because we know that their enemy destroyer now is probably going to focus on us now that he's taken out our battleship that was over here supporting, right? So we'll kind of continue to duck and weave whenever we can, because that way we can get, with this ship, the torpedo launchers, you get one on each side of the ship, right? So you have to, I think up through the tier 5, if I'm not mistaken, you can shoot the torpedoes on either side, right? The ship's skinny enough that they'll go through. And then if you notice here, Zone A is now getting captured by the enemy, right? So we know that that destroyer has continued to move up. That Helena got just enough time to dodge that torpedo, right? So we've built into the torpedoes so much here. They're even the commander that sort of came along with this tech tree of cruisers, right, is, there's even perks in there that make the torpedoes harder to spy for enemies, right? So that's kind of why he probably waited till it got pretty close before he actually turned, right? But yeah, we'll keep dumping them as they keep getting reloaded. We've had quite a bit of success with them, though, thus far in the game, right? Don't always get this lucky with the torpedoes. I always maintain it's always kind of hard to, long range, it's always kind of hard to get those hits because a lot can change in the amount of time that it takes for your torpedoes to get out there, right? But it's working well for us there. We pop high caliber, and we are up to 90,000 damage, right? I think we got a fire going on that cruiser, right? And so we know there's a destroyer in there somewhere, so we're just trying to signal that to our allied cruiser that's over here helping us out. And then just kind of trying to decide if this battleship and this cruiser are going to keep coming around the island or if they're going to cut in at some point, right? So Fubuki makes the mistake of firing his guns here, so that's going to help us to finish him off. And he is low on health because I do think that that torpedo hit, at least the second one we got early on, I think we must have hit him with that, right? So boosh, he is done, 92,000 damage, and now we're going to have a little bit more free reign, right? We can be a little bit more aggressive, knowing we won't get spotted as easily, and we also have a little bit of a mountain land, or whatever you want to call it, between us and the battleship out there, right? So we'll take advantage of that, knowing the battleship won't be able to shoot us for at least a little bit here. And then, yeah, we'll continue to do our, this is our classic duck and weave / a runaway maneuver here. I'm going to guess that the battleship's going to change course at some point, so we shot a little early, or a little bit to the left of sort of the suggested line. And then that also would give us a chance at hitting the cruiser with those torpedoes as well that's out there. So that's kind of why we took that guess shot. And we do get a torpedo hit on the battleship out there, right? See if we can't finish off Le Galactionnaire, another ship that I of course cannot pronounce. I apologize as always. We're going to keep ourselves angled, so we are hitting the edge of the map here, but I wanted to keep myself angled in case the battleship was looking in our direction, right? But he is not. He is hyper focused on our allied battleship, so we'll get ourselves away from the wall here, and we'll send some torpedoes up there as well. It's kind of like a, you just kind of got to send them, right? Like, he's probably going to die, but, who knows, more of those cruisers that are out there might end up pressing this way as well, right? And looking at the minimap, it looks like a little bit of a lost cause for a game. We got 2 cruisers that went way up to the top right of the map, and I do not know what the heck they're doing up there, but they've moved too far away from objectives, right? I get it if you're moving away from objectives because you're getting sort of chased down by ships that outgun you, like that kind of thing. Like, I can understand that a little bit. And also you're then distracting said ships from you know, you're distracting enemy ships from objectives as well, right? But man, like those guys are far out. I just wasn't paying too much attention. I was focused on myself, right? But my opinion right now, they're, especially that one that's just right off to the right on the outside of the island, like there's nobody he can shoot. You know, maybe he's low on health or something. You know, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but there's nobody he can shoot, and he's not capping his zone right now. It does look like he is finally heading towards the C cap. He does get picked up by the go case. So we'll help out with him if we can here. He is sort of right at range, and since we're losing on points, right, I want to get into the objectives as well, so I want to get in here where I can help capture the a-hole, right? Why not? But yeah, so Gokase gets within firing range. We sent torpedoes that way in case he kind of turns out, but it looks like he's going to decide to go the other way, right? Let's see if we can get... We got a little bit of a health pool left as well, so we can be a little bit risky. Just don't go broadside, right? But we're going to try and get ourselves in here. And we know the Mayoko has torpedoes of his own, so we'll give it a hot minute here and use our sonar. Hopefully we can finish him off, right? We've got ourselves, we are a little bit of a pickle here at the moment. We've got 3 enemy ships, all 3 of them can probably hit us, right? So we're going to try and get our torpedoes off here just in case we do go down and try and give our team the best chance possible. Gokase gets picked up again here. We'll see. We're not going to be able to shoot him. All right, Helena. Who can we hit, right? It looks like from here we can probably shoot our guns and not get spotted. 12 seconds on the starboard side torpedoes. So these last few ships look like they're trying to be smart, right? They know they're ahead on points, but they still are going to have to defend the zones to some degree, right? We've already capped A, and so this can kind of turn in our favor fairly easily here as long as we can survive, right? Gokase is almost dead. See if we can finish him. All right, York got him. Nice job. Are those torps gonna help us out there? We're gonna get 1 hit. That might finish him. Yep, that was enough. These are pretty brutal torpedoes, right? And then the Helena is gonna be all that's left, right? So the our cruiser buddy that I just complained about before is now doing the smart thing and getting Zone C capped. The other one is heading for B, but can probably also at the same time help us out with the Helena here, right? So I'm going to guess we're going to finish this Helena off before we get more zones capped. We go undetected because there's nobody between, because there's some land between us and the Helena, right? And then he's still getting picked up by our allied cruiser up north of B, right? So we should have this game in the bag, and then we will go through the sort of the build and the commander loadout stuff once we get this guy finished off, right? But not too shabby. 146,000 damage for a tier 6 cruiser. We'll take it, right? But yeah, 6 torpedo hits is probably what did most of the work there, right? These are just like, this is just fun, right? I think if you really wanted to go for like what might be the best build, you might build into the guns better and use, more and use a different commander, but I just having too much fun with these torpedoes, these long range, fast moving, hard to spot, brutal hit, hard hitting torpedoes. It's just a lot of fun. So 3,000 XP, that puts us at the top of the leaderboard fairly easily. Next guy's got like 900 that he would have needed to catch up to us. 400 grand in silver. We will take it, right? I'm not going to try to pronounce this commander's name. But for inspirations, I did pick this guy because he's got cruiser main battery range increased, right? So you don't get whatever it is, like reaching out or something, whatever it is for as a commander, perk for a pick. So and the range was kind of lacking, right, on the main gun, so that's why I picked him. But yeah, everything else, I'm picking the torpedo option here, right? So range, speed. I wouldn't go with expose because you've got sonar already, and as long as you're using it appropriately, you shouldn't need this extra, tidbit, right? Like I'll take the torpedo perk over that one. I did go see detectability range here. It is kind of nice to go unspotted when you can with these ships because they're so fragile, right? But I mean, you do you. I think you could pick anything there, right? And we're not picking acoustic chamber for the same reason we're not picking the other sonar perk. So we're going reload time there. And then killing distance, this is the one that we're kind of really why we're picking this, right? So this is one of the rare scenarios where I'm not using fully packed for my cruiser commander, right? Because it's basically 3 perks in one there, right? Like you get more range, more damage the further the torpedoes go, right? And they're harder to spot with that perk. So that's pretty epic, sort of an all-in-one awesome torpedo build, right, for these. So I've been having a lot of fun with these. I would definitely expect me to put some more videos out with these ships, right, and probably play them on live stream a little more, right, because I'm having fun, having a good time with them, right. But thank you guys so much for watching my videos and following my channel. I really do appreciate you guys. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you again.